Hey, Brian, you are unmuted.
Hey guys,
Hi,
how you
everybody.
doing out there?
3 thumbs up.
It's good to see you guys. I think we're waiting on a few people yet.
Mhm.
Okay, so we'll wait just a couple minutes because I know time is a factor, and then we'll start.
Mhm.
Mark Salkin, you look very comfortable.
So everybody is muted, and they can't. The way that we have the settings, you can't be unmuted unless I do it. Well, okay. So just let me know if you want to talk or whatever. Like use the chat feature.
All right, looks like we have Robert joining us.
And we have Megan.
Megan, Kelly. Hey Megan, hey Josh. Hey Robert. Looks like we have Elise coming on.
Elise. So quiet. I don't know about it.
All right. So Jen, before you start, I have just some general announcements. Are you okay if I go forward with those?
Yeah, go for it as long as you want. Take it.
Okay, guys. Well, hey, first and foremost, this is like my favorite part of the week, being able to chat with you guys, and I'm very excited. So I made a couple announcements, so you're aware. So the Pittverse website now has the winter issue up. So I know that I believe the last time we spoke, somebody brought it to my attention that the last issue still had not been posted up to the website. So I've gone ahead and corrected that. So if you do go on and go to the issue section, it should say Winter 2019. You can pull it up. You can look at the issue, and it looks great. So check that out for sure. Some of the bios since the last time we spoke have been updated. And so I just want to point those out because there have been some new features with that. So, first of all, Nils, I don't know if Nils is on the call or not, but he went ahead and submitted I believe, a bio. So we have a bio for Nils up. I think Nathaniel Geyer, I know Nathaniel's on here, submitted a photo. So we have a photo up there for Nathaniel. And Julia, if you haven't had a chance, so Julia took advantage of one of the features that we're hoping many of you will, which is to be able to link to things that either you are directly involved in or things that are of interest to you. So Julia writes a blog, and if you go to Julia's bio page on the website and you scroll down to the section to where it says blog or links, you'll be able to click. It's a simple click. It takes you right to her blog. And I have to tell you, um, I would advise everybody on here to check that blog out. Julia, what a beautiful website. Um, Everything on there is just gorgeous. I actually spent, I don't know, I got sidetracked this afternoon. I probably spent a good 30 minutes on there just going through the pictures and what you've written. It's just amazing. So please make sure to take advantage of that, guys, and ask yourself, how can I put this on? Absolutely. I think that any of the sports you're involved in, any of things that you've got um, upcoming, absolutely put it on there. I know Mr. Hester Robert has always a lot going on, so being able to put that up there is good. So many of you other guys are just so involved in so many things. It's really easy. So what Julia did, she emailed the magazine and just said, hey, here's my link. It's for my personal blog, and I'm giving permission to put it up. And it really is that simple. So like I said, it usually, I'm going through and making sure, the site is updated no less than, between now and the next time we'll talk. So feel free to add what you want. If you haven't completed a bio, I encourage you to just go on there and just read a couple that are there. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. All the bios that are written are very different from one another, and I think that's great because that's you. There are some standard questions on there to answer. Again, if you pull up either a piece of paper or a Word document, or you could either record it somehow audibly, answer those questions, get it to Jen at the magazine. She'll get it to me and we'll get it up on the website. I think the Michael Kurland is one of the individuals who has gone through and completed the questions. So you can check for him out, but it's just some general questions we ask all the writers just to get some additional familiarity with everything that's going on. So I absolutely think that please take advantage of that. The website, I think, is slowly coming to life, and I like that. I want that to be a place that we regularly check in on. And speaking of places we really want to regularly check in on, I have sent, I believe, almost everyone an email invite for Band, BAND. It's the application that we already have a standing Pittverse group on. So the invite will be specifically to that group. What that is an app that you can have on any smartphone, but it would allow for us to engage on a daily basis as opposed to every 2 weeks. We'll still do, obviously, our standard meeting every 2 weeks, as we've been doing. But as we know, a lot can happen in between today and the next time that we speak. For example, we're gonna be voting next time on a cover vote, and so that's gonna be a big thing. So we're gonna talk about the cover, I guess what we're voting on today. But you may have some additional questions. We have until Friday for submissions, I believe. So there still is time, I think, to be able to get submissions out there. So the Band app can act as a facilitator for it. It's just something that we can have contact with one another throughout the day. Now, if for whatever reason you aren't able to get through on that application, please let us know right away. Um, I do think that we send email invites out to everyone, but in case I didn't, please let me know. The directions are pretty simple on how you can get it and go forward with there. The only thing that I ask, and I do ask this, we honor a code of conduct with one another. So we want to be very respectful. As you'll be able to see on here, you can create different group chats. So let's say that Robert and Zach wanted to collaborate on a future article. What they could do is they could actually create a chat room for themselves, and they could work specifically on that. So there are just a number of things that could be done with this. Max, I know you're big on trains, and I know you and Mike Curlin seem to always have a lot to talk about. You guys could get a similar chat going there. But it's a safe site. I just ask that we're respectful of each other. Opinions are opinions, and there's a lot of them out there. And one of the great things about this magazine is that it honors opinions. We have no issue with that. What we want to ensure is that we're respecting each other with those opinions, that we're not turning it into or trying to push an agenda on anybody. That's absolutely something that would we can't stand for on that. Opinions are opinions. You put them out there for people to interpret as they see fit. If you're trying to cram your interpretation on top of them, you are actually hindering their ability to make the most of the work that you're putting forward. So it's very important to remember those things at all times. So the last thing I'm gonna bring up in terms of announcements is we are looking for a spring release. We want to do a spring release. We want to do it obviously virtually, which we're looking at right now. There is a very, very small chance that by the time June rolls around, we may be in a different category, which might provide us some ability to perhaps do in person. I'm probably very cautiously, uh, I guess, opposed to that. I just don't want to take any risks that are unnecessary when we don't have to. So I think trying this out virtually might not be a bad idea. That being said, I want you to start considering some dates. I'm going to throw 2 weeks at you in the month of June to take a look at. Nobody has to make a decision now. So I'm thinking of Wednesday, June 10th or Wednesday, June 17th. I want to stick as closely as we have in the past. So a 6 to 8 p.m. is what we'll shoot for. We'd all be coming here on Zoom as opposed to going to the Lifestone Church in the South Side. The other option I wanted to throw out there, because we are together and, social distancing is what it is. We're not limited to the amount of people we can invite on the Zoom. At least I don't believe so. And we're not confined also to the weekday. So if you were interested, if we felt that more people would be available on a Friday evening from 6 to 8, I'm comfortable with that. Like the rest of you, I'm not going anywhere. None of us are really going anywhere whenever it comes to the weekends. So if it would be uh, easier to do it on a weekend as opposed to a weekday, it's something I'm open to. So um, if you have a preference, well, let me put it this way. We're going to vote next week or 2 weeks from now on the cover. Let's also take a vote on the date of which we would want to do the virtual spring release. Sound good? All right. So I know time is of the essence. So with that, Jen, I am turning it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. And Brian, I'm actually going to ask for your help
Yep.
in running the meeting. That way I can take some notes.
Perfect.
If you want to facilitate and talk to everybody, and then I can take notes on what we decide. So we have an agenda, guys. We need to get over. So we need to decide on at least some final things on Foodie Call, what we want to do for summer. That was the first thing. And then the next thing was the cover vote. And I have a couple of submissions already for that. So thank you for that. I got a butterfly thing from Delane already for cover, which is really pretty. And anybody else has any kind of cover photos that you want to send, send them my way, send them to me. I'm keeping a separate spreadsheet for that. So that's the second thing we have to talk about. And then we're going to kind of I thought, I didn't make the deadlines because I thought we could kind of all go over those together and make the deadlines together, so that we could all decide as a group what works best for everybody as far as when we want to have the summer issue come out and then what the deadline should be. That way it's fair to everybody. So we want to talk about that. And then if there's time after that, whatever time is remaining, I want to talk about what your topics are for the summer and kind of so everybody could get a feel for what this issue is going to be like. So are you cool with that, Brian? Are you cool with
Absolutely.
And I'm going to actually turn it over to you. I'm going to officially make you the host here.
All right.
Here we go.
So the first thing up then is the Foodie Call, correct?
Yeah, that's the first thing. Yeah,
So,
and you are the host, so you can unmute people and things.
All right. So we're all aware because I know that somebody had a question on exactly what is this. So the Foodie Call is we all come together and decide on a certain type of food that as many of us want to try and then do a recommendation or write up on for the issue. So for this particular issue, because nobody is necessarily going out anywhere, we decided to do the foodie call, I believe, on home cooked food and food that you might have delivered to your house. That being said, I want to open things up for suggestions. And as you said, Jen, she's going to be taking some notes. So
Taking notes.
let me open it up. Some of you have already submitted, so I'm actually Delane, if you wouldn't mind. I know that you had submitted a picture, and you also did a bit of a write up on a food item. Is that correct?
And I sent a recipe along with the write up.
Yep, got it. The Tuscan chicken.
Do you want to talk just a little bit about that?
About my article?
About the what made you decide on Tuscan chicken? Or is that just a recipe you like to make?
Well, my article was about how since I've been home on my quarantine, I've been doing more cooking and trying new recipes, and it was one of the recipes I tried that I liked.
Yeah. Well,
So that's why I used it, and because it was one of the recipes I made, and then I also took a picture of it.
Yes.
So I included the recipe.
It looks great.
Along with the picture, and I explained like how I've been shopping and like the new like rules and like how you have to stand 6 feet apart, and like there's plexiglass between you and the cashier, and how like I've been doing more cooking at home because of versus like going out to restaurants and stuff like that, and
right.
And like how I have more time to cook and stuff like that.
Well, I think it's great. Anybody else wish to talk about either a home cooked recipe that they're considering submitting, or here we go, Andrew. Let me unmute you, my friend. There you go.
Well, I mentioned, I think last meeting, calico bean casserole, which is kind of, it has the recipe calls for baked beans, butter beans, and red kidney beans, and it's meant as a side dish, but it's so hearty. My family will eat it as a main meal, and usually have like Pillsbury biscuits with it.
Oh, wow!
And I could put together something about that and send the recipe, and I could also recommend how I always do a double batch. That way, since my mother doesn't like butter beans, I can put in only 1 can of butter beans and 1 can of, say, Great Northern beans.
Yes.
And also how instead of just like only light red kidney beans or dark red, I can put in 1 can of each.
Oh, this is wonderful.
I haven't. Recipes that we are cooking on our own while we're in quarantine. Like I had my article was like something about quarantine cooking or something.
Yes. I think it's perfect. I could do this all day too. I've not eaten dinner yet, so I'm loving this talk right now. Yeah. Who else? Elise, do you mind? And I apologize if I'm putting anybody on the spot here. Do you have, or does anything come to mind for you for the foodie call?
Well, I found a very good bread recipe that you make in the crock pot.
Oh, there we go. Okay, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's an herb bread. There's like 2 different options. I forget what the 2 herbs are that you can choose between. But it's really good because I made that with a chicken gnocchi soup.
Yes.
So good.
And it was such a good combo.
Well, that sounds phenomenal. It really does. Let me see. I see, Andrew, you've got another point you want to make. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you want to do something about the bread, there's a who here has heard of Wallace and Gromit, the claymation series from England?
Yeah.
Anyway,
a lot of hands up.
Yeah, there's the last one they made was called A Matter of Loaf and Death. That might be something you could tie into your bread recipe. Is how like in this trying times, being able to make food at home is like a matter of loaf and death.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Michael, I see you've joined. You have a foodie call recipe. And Mike, just so you know, before you speak, before you speak, we are moving to this system just because we've got so many people, we have to manage this. So the mute unmute is by the host, which is myself and Jen. So it's not a slight to you by any stretch at all. It's just in order for us to keep structure and be the most efficient with the time that we have. So with that, let me unmute you. Do you have a comment for the foodie call, a recipe or a delivery that you appreciate, you most look forward to?
First of all, I wanted to apologize for having been late.
That's
but
okay.
I do not appreciate being
Mike,
muted.
that was not the question. The question
But
was,
first of all,
where's your favorite delivery or recipe?
well,
Yeah.
I do not. Look, I don't have. Well, I believe someone was working with me on Martha. You're on camera.
It's not the worst thing that ever happened. Hi, Brian.
Shoot.
Hi, Martha.
I'm going to shoo myself right out the door.
No.
Hey,
Don't.
Michael, just in the interest of time, do you have a recipe that you like to make that you might be able to recommend?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Mike.
Sorry, but I'm short-tempered because I was being given the silent treatment, and I resent that.
Okay, Mike.
Plus, there's been a lot of bad things going on in my life. One.
Okay, well, Mike, and I don't mean to unmute you again or to mute you again, but we want to stay on topic. Mike, you can, if you want to give me a call tomorrow to talk to me a bit about any of that stuff, you are more than welcome. I will be around, particularly in the afternoon. I do have things in the morning, but particularly in the afternoon will be fine. Does anybody else have any comments to make just regarding food or the foodie call? If you do, just put your hand up and I will unmute you. Zach, I think you had your hand up. Go ahead. For some reason, Zach, I can't get your audio. Jen, do you want to see if you can unmute his?
Yeah. Let me see what I can do. Hey, Zach. And then after Zach, Heather from Yap has Daniel Ashkin with her, and he has something he would like to say after that.
Wonderful.
No, it doesn't let me do it.
Zach,
so you have to do it.
For some reason, we're having a bit of an issue getting you unmuted. Let me try. See, I have Dan. So let me talk to Dan, Zach, and then we'll see if we can come back to you. Okay, Daniel.
Am I unmuted? Excuse me. Am I unmuted now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you are. Okay. Hey, Dan.
Yeah, I was able to do it from my computer.
That's okay.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, Zach. So,
How
Zach,
are you doing?
Well, I'm doing just fine. Good to see you. And tell us what you have for the foodie call.
Well, to me, really, food's food.
So is there anything in particular that either is kind of a home-cooked meal that you prefer or a certain type of delivery that you prefer when it comes to food?
Well, I like both. I like home-cooked meals, and I like to help out restaurants, like family-owned restaurants, more or less rather than chain restaurants.
What is your favorite home-cooked meal?
That's very hard to say.
All right. Well, hey, something for you to think about. Daniel, let me go to you. All right.
Okay, I have Dan on speakerphone, so hopefully you guys can hear him.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead, Dan.
Yes.
We can
should
hear
have
you.
Maybe a fruit salad.
Fruit salad. Okay. Yeah. Now, Dan, is this like, do you make it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, then that may be something. I think that's really interesting. Because there's such a variety when it comes to fruit salad, depending on how you make it, what you want to include in it. So that's definitely a good option. I think that's something you should go forward with. All right, and I think Dima, you have a suggestion as well. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Okay. I like it. I like it. Well, I think we have a lot of solid stuff. Jen, is there a particular, if somebody has something that comes their way, do they submit it to you? How between now and the next few days?
Yeah, send it to the Pittverse email, and
Okay.
I'll file it so that we have all of the options together by our next meeting, so we can vote.
So guys, I think honestly, just from the short time that we talked here, the homemade idea sounds great. Whether it's and if it is a meal that you can provide a photo and a recipe for, that is perfect. If it's not, we will take what you can provide as a backup. If you just don't have anything that you're good with when it comes to meals, if you have a favorite type of delivery that comes to your door, or if you want to write about the what type of food that you most like to have delivered, that would be good. We have one more here, so I think Amelia, that's you. I'm gonna let you speak.
Well, I've been getting ice cream cake from Dairy Queen, and I have stuff to make my own fruit salad. Hi, Zach. Hi, Andrew. So I'm just wondering, when I know I'm excited about getting into the yellow phase, but my mom and I have gotten lots of good food. We've got Howley, we've got Minio's, we got Five Guys, Uncle Sam's.
That is true.
I also want to write about how the coronavirus is affecting me, and these slumber party books I downloaded on Kindle for each of the online virtual groups right now.
All right. Well, hey, I thank you, Amelia, for your submission, and I just want to add on here that Sarah, who's on here as well, Sarah could submit a gluten-free recipe, which I would absolutely love. So please do. All right, guys, because we are moving forward, we want to talk about the cover vote. So, Jen, do you want to just give us an overview of where we are at in the cover vote process? Because I do know Friday is the deadline for the submission. I have seen some of the submissions. Delane, I don't know if that's a photo you took, but if you did, it's absolutely beautiful. Of the butterfly. Oh, let me get you. Yeah, did you take that photo?
Yeah, you can share the content so everyone can see it. Like you up at the top screen, just put share content, and then everyone can see the picture.
Where do I find that?
At the top of your screen, it says share content.
Oh, okay. So we have to go. Yeah.
And then everyone can see what it looks like.
Do you have it, Jen, or are you able to?
Let me see if that's like accessible. Well, no, because only you can share it. And I don't know if you're like, do you have to be hooked up to the Dropbox from the device you're on?
I might.
That's where
I might be able. I might be able to do this. So I could share my screen. I could show you guys here in a second. Let me see if I still have the Dropbox. Give me just 1 second.
Very cool.
Yes. And so I see the food photo. Here we go. I got it. Okay. So put it on full screen and give me 1 second here. I'm going to share it. I'm going to try this out and see if I can do it. And I can't. I can, but I'm not. I'm just technologically challenged.
Let me see if I can find it while you guys
Okay.
are talking. I'll see if I can.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh,
but-
it says only host.
yeah, only a host can
There's
share.
only the host.
Mhm.
Rats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I'm
what we're
sorry about
No,
that.
but you can do it. Maybe you can next time.
I can, or this is a great time. We could put it up in the band app. And so please check it out. I did get a couple of you that said you haven't got a invite. So that's the right way. Let me know. And I will send you one out. So let's move quickly then over to continuing to talk about the cover vote. So Delane has a beautiful picture, by the way, which is outstanding. Chaz, I wanted to ask if you had anything that you were considering or working on for a possible cover. No. Nothing at this time. Okay. Anybody else have anything when it comes to a cover? Any other suggestions? Oh, I think Heather, you've got your. There you go.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Dan.
I got one suggestion. We should stay away from any pictures that remind us of a city.
Okay. You know what?
Fair enough.
Coronavirus.
That is a very, and you know what? There's a dual purpose on that one, Dan. That's a very good suggestion. That is because not only obviously what we're going through with the pandemic, but the other thing is if you have looked at the amount of times we've had a city on our cover, it's been quite a bit. So we want to move to other things for sure. Max, I saw your hand up. What do you have, buddy?
Considering it's the Reality Series 75th anniversary this year, and particular movie which may not see the light of day, I was thinking I could come up with something for maybe this issue or the next issue, depending on my schedule and how it all works out.
Okay. So Max, what was that you'd want the 75th anniversary of?
The Reality Series, which is Tom Kitchen essentially, but we would have to get permission from Hit Entertainment.
Okay.
I do have this guy that I'm currently working on, so maybe I can include him in a cover photo of some sort.
All right, that is a possibility. Mr. Mark Salkin, you had an idea for a cover.
Yeah, I was hoping we could do vehicles from all over the world.
Okay. All right, so a cover with vehicles from all over the world. That's a possibility. Andrew?
Sorry, I had muted myself manually as well. Actually, well, first I want to say if I was to choose a cover, I'd choose one that was relevant to at least the general idea of the stories we're writing about. But I do also have another idea, as I put in the chats, for something. I think next time I'll write an article about the comedy character Red Green. But if I wanted to make a good suggestion for this summer issue cover, I'd suggest maybe a picture of like a thumbs up with one of those medical tray things in it, like those boxes that have the red cross in the center of them with a inside of a thumbs up, it's like healthiness kind of thing.
That is, I like that. By the way, guys, if you look at Delane's screen, Delane, it's looking really good. Her photo was of the butterfly.
I can't see it.
And the flowers.
Oh, if you tile your screen, maybe.
It does look good.
I see it. I saw it.
All right. All right.
It's not quite as clear, but that you get an idea what it is.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Delane. All right, Josh. Let me get you on mute here. Go ahead, Josh.
Well, my other idea of a cover photo could also be like a space HD wallpaper cover, which shows like a visual background of like a nebula or a galaxy.
Okay. That's not a bad idea at all. And let's see, Amelia, you've been so patient. Thank you. What do you have?
I also wanted to tell you my idea because I read that Hamilton's coming to Disney Plus, and I want to write about it.
Okay, that's good. So, all right. Well, that might be all right. So, Hamilton, yes, coming to Disney Plus on July 3rd. I thought I saw somebody else's hand up. Maybe I didn't. All right. Okay, good. We do have just under 3 minutes left. By the way, Nathaniel also gave a great suggestion, a home away from home idea. I think that that is a really interesting idea. It's kind of relevant because of the way things are going right now. We kind of feel home away from home from what we're used to. But Jen, I'm going to turn this to you. Well, thanks, Chaz. I think Max had one more thing. Max, we have just over 2 minutes.
I like that idea about the whole Red Cross thing with the thumbs up thing because, yeah, it's just, I like that idea.
All right. Well, thank you, sir. And the way it's going to go, Jen, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is there is a deadline on Friday. And then when we come back in 2 weeks, we are going to vote on these ideas. All right, Jen, let me.
Yes, the deadline on Friday is the cover vote submissions or the cover photo submissions. I'm sorry. So send me your submissions and we will vote on them. So I like the ideas, but I actually want photos from you. So send me actual photos and then we'll vote on them at our next meeting. But the deadline for me to compile them all from you is Friday. So send them to my email address, which you know what it is, right? Pittversemagazine@gmail.com.
And then Jen, what you could do perhaps is put the photos up on the band app. So everyone would have the ability to take some time and look at them and you know, make some informed selection.
Yeah, that's an awesome idea. I'll see if I can send out an email too to everybody. So you can
And
see
guys,
And
no
then you
stress.
can share the content at the meeting.
Say
Oh
that
yeah,
again?
yes, we can share the content at the meeting.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely, will do. So I think Elise was the only one that I saw that didn't have an invite for the band app. Elise, I will take care of that immediately once we hang up. Everybody else, check your emails. Your emails is where it came from. It came from my iCloud account, but it will say my name in the subject line. So I don't know if it would show up in your spam or your junk mail. If you haven't gotten it in your regular email, check there. Max, I may cut out on you, but you have one more thing. Go for it.
Yeah, how do we get to the band app? Like, how do we do that?
If you go to the App Store on your Android or your iPhone and just type in
Is there one for just Google in general?
Yeah, it might pop up that way as well. Yeah, matter of fact, it would.
Send a link to that to me?
Yes. Yeah, we put it out. Max, check your email, buddy. I think it would be there.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, Delane, you've been awesome tonight.